Hello and welcome. You're watching the Trending Burning Question with me, Shavan Sen. For the last 48 hours, ladies and gentlemen, we here at Republic TV have been continuously focusing on what's really happening in the state of West Bengal. And here is the reason why we are focusing on the mayhem that exists in the state of West Bengal. All this during the Panchayat polls. Over 30 lives have been lost since the time the polls were announced. On the very day when the polling actually took place, there were over a dozen deaths that took place. And not just that, some very bizarre images that you may not have seen from any other state of the country, where people were running with ballot boxes. They were polling agents. Then you had goons of political parties who were setting ablaze the ballot paper. The question here is that who exactly is responsible for it? And what really happens to those who all this while have been advocating that there is a death of democracy in this country? And of course, not to forget all those who united against the Bharatiya Janata Party only because they wanted to save democracy. Where is that brigade? That brigade has been completely silent. And what happened to that Mohabbat ki Dukaan? The Mohabbat ki Dukaan only exists in other parts of the country, and the death of their own workers does not matter, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the focus still remains on what's really happening in the state of West Bengal, where the political party says minuscule number of deaths have actually taken place. Hence, it is imperative that we ask that question. Governor Ananda Bose has met Home Minister Amit Shah. Sources suggest that the governor submitted the report on the Panchayat poll of violence. With hours to go for the counting, there are still instances of violence that is being reported from various parts of West Bengal. And the governor says that the darkest hour is before the dawn, and there is going to be light at the end of the tunnel. What does he really mean by that? Take a look at this report and then we start the trending burning question.
On the day when over 600 booths went for repolling, at least 35 crude bombs were recovered from a pond and a field in Beldanga area of Murshidabad. In North Dinajpur, TMC workers clashed with supporters of independent candidates. Clashes were witnessed in Barakpur Shankarpur area between TMC and CPM. BJP is sending a fact-finding committee to Bengal.
ये बहुत पीड़ा की बात है कि 39 लोग मर जाते हैं। ये लोकतंत्र है, लोकतंत्र की बात आप करते हैं और आप कैसा लोकतंत्र हो रहा है बंगाल में, और बाकी विपक्षी दल क्यों शांत हैं? क्या सीपीआई, क्या सीपीएम, क्या राहुल गांधी और ममता जी नरेंद्र मोदी पर आरोप लगाती हैं कि लोकतंत्र का गला घोटा जा रहा है?
Amidst the tense situation in Bengal, Governor has met Union Home Minister Amit Shah in Delhi.
The darkest hour is just before dawn. There will be light at the end of the tunnel. The only message which I could get today is, if winter comes, can spring be far behind? Good will happen in the days to come.
While the governor has expressed hope, all eyes are on the result day. With hours to go before votes are counted, will Tuesday be violence-free? Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Well, where exactly is Mohabbat ki Dukaan today? Because if you actually go through the timeline of that political party, which has generally been very active on every issue of the country, and rightfully so as the opposition party, but not a single tweet when their own workers have been hacked to death. Joining us tonight on the Trending Burning Question is Shishir Bajoria of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Pratim Ranjan Bose, he's a senior journalist. Professor Monojit Mondal, leaning towards the Trinamool Congress, and Nilanjan Das, political analyst. Opening up the debate is Professor Mondal and Shishir Bajoria. Let's have both of them on the screen right now. Let me take this question first to you, Mr. Shishir Bajoria. Your party is equally responsible, and the reason why I'm saying this is when you have your own leader, Shuvendu Adhikari, almost borderline saying, complimenting the people who actually poured water on the ballot paper, then of course you are equally responsible, Shishir Bajoria.
Well, straight away to answer that question, we compliment those who did this, for only one reason. When there was wanton stuffing of ballots, the Trinamool government of West Bengal, the Trinamool Election Commission of West Bengal, I am responsible for that portfolio in my party. Not one argument of ours this biased commissioner saw through. Not one. When we realized that we get nothing, we have hundreds of videos of polling officers stamping the ballots at midnight. What do we have? We realized he will not give repolls. There was only one. If voters did it, if booth agents did it, they did a great job. You know what the commission did? We asked for repoll. We submitted a list of about 6,000 repolls in polling booths. Because when we went, the commissioner told us, look, it's not possible for us to review 62,000 videos. So why don't you help us with the list? We submitted that list the very next day. But Mr. Bajoria, we worked overnight. And just
by that argument.
And then what did we see? He gets a list from Trinamool Congress, from that Kamak Street office where a third-party agent of theirs is working. And those are the booths.
But Mr. Bajoria, by that argument, by that logic,
698
of course,
booths.
There is absolutely no doubt, Mr. Bajoria, as far as these polls are concerned, which was marred by large-scale violence and almost abdication of responsibility by the authorities concerned, which includes the State Election Commission. But having said that, Mr. Bajoria, before I go across to Professor Mandal, don't you then lose the moral right to question the Trinamool Congress? 1 minute, Mr. Bajoria, just hear me out, then I'll have Professor Mandal to respond to it. Don't you then lose out the moral right to ask this question of the Trinamool Congress when ballot boxes were basically set ablaze by goons of the Trinamool Congress? There are goons within your party then.
Sir, I did not say that my party people did it. You've seen normal voters go beat up people. And let me give just two figures before your viewers. Total number of booth capturing, 22,319. BJP booth agents kicked out, 4,543. Forcible ballot stamping, 19,300 out of 61,000 booths. Number of deaths on the polling day itself, 19. By the way, the total number of deaths are 42, 43. You know, when these numbers are at this level, you cannot follow anything. And when you know that this West Bengal police, they were nowhere to be seen. The court had categorically said not a single civic volunteer. And all that was seen on the polling day was civic volunteers. This is our West Bengal government. This is our state election.
Okay. Okay. I want Professor Mandal to now respond to what Mr. Shishir Bajoria had to say. But before that, Professor Mandal, two aspects that I want to highlight tonight. And let's be very clear. Drawing a parallel with Manipur does not really work out here. I'll give you the reason a little later. Then the question is, those who have been demanding imposition of Article 355 in the state of West Bengal will also apply, because you were asking the same in Manipur. But what I want to ask you is this. Number one, as far as law and order is concerned, your administration was responsible for it. Now, there is an IPS officer, Mr. Shishir Bajoria can put out more details of it. I have seen that video myself. The IPS officer, I'm not naming the IPS officer because I do not know whether at all there has been action taken or whether he is under any sort of investigation at this point in time. The IPS officer simply calls some of the incidents of violence that have taken place. These are small incidents that are taking place. Death of over 30 people from the time the announcement was made, Professor Mandal, cannot be essentially called small death. One of your ministers who did a press conference said that take a look at the data right now, take a look at the number of districts put together, and then you will come across that these are small, minuscule amount of violence that has taken place. The point here is that when you sit with the Mohabbat Ki Dukaan leader, then I think so you completely lose all moral right, Professor Mandal, to actually go on and then say that, okay, look here, there's been complete death of democracy in this country.
Permit me 5 seconds, Mr. Sen, just 5 seconds. That IPS officer was none else than the Director
Should I reply
General
or
of
he will go on?
Manoj Malviya.
Should I reply or he'll go on?
None else than the Director General of
Okay,
Police.
Mr. Bajoria, I've given you the
Why
time.
is
Let
so
Professor
excited?
Mondal to also
You see
respond.
one
Let's
thing.
have Professor Mondal responding one by
I'll
one.
take on-
Professor
I'll take
Mondal
on-
goes.
I'll
Let's
take
get
on-
into specifics.
I'll take on
My
the
only
principle-
request to you, Professor
one of the-
Mondal, tonight is
yeah,
that
one of the
tonight, once again,
I'll
I'm
take-
making
yeah.
that small request to you. Let's stick to specifics. Let's stick to specifics. Go ahead.
I understand Manipur is a very uncomfortable subject for you and the BJP. I'll not talk about Manipur. I understand why it is so uncomfortable because
Not at all.
that part is
Professor
fine.
Mondal,
I'll
don't
not talk
start like
about
that. I'll tell you why. Because
Yes,
when you
yes.
do that, when you
I'm not talking
one
about
minute,
Manipur. I'll talk
the reason,
about-
the reason
I'll
why
talk about
I'm
Bengal.
tempted to say that,
I'm
I'm tempted to say, Professor Mondal, please hear me out. 1 minute, because no, one second. You make an allegation. I don't have a problem. You want to take on. You want to take on. No, 1 second. Professor Mondal, 1 minute. 1 minute. Please hold on. You want to take on Mr. Shishir Bajoria of the Bharatiya Janata Party because he's a political opponent. I have no problem. 1 minute. 1 minute. Professor Mondal, please hear me out. I have no problem. You want to take? No, hear me out. No, hear me out. No. I take complete I take complete objection when you are trying to equate us with the Bharatiya Janata Party. Number one. 1 minute. Hold on.
No.
You have missed out. If you have not seen programs that have been done by Republic TV, its coverage as far as Manipur is concerned, without knowing, don't make that comment. Please go ahead. You want to take on the Bharatiya Janata Party? Please do so. It's your political opponent. But never say that we are uncomfortable. We are not uncomfortable about anything.
Sawan,
No, because you're going to make false allegations against us. Of course I will take umbrage about it. I will take umbrage when you're speaking about my network.
I have not equated with you with BJP. I am simply saying you have not raised this question. That doesn't mean that you are equated with the BJP. That's what you are saying. I have not said. I'm saying the way you have been putting this question to Mamta Di, to us, to TMC for the last 1 month, you have not put up this question as a journalist, as a very impartial.
Then you have not seen my shows.
Journalist, even once to the
No,
Prime
then you have
Minister of
not
this
seen
country
my shows.
As to why
Professor Mondal, you have not seen my shows. I have asked the same questions. I have asked the same questions of the Chief Minister of Manipur. I have also asked the same questions to the Chief Minister of Manipur when deaths have taken place. So don't say that.
Anything to say.
As a responsible journalist, as a neutral journalist, you have not put this question to the BJP and the Prime Minister of this country, as you are perhaps rightfully doing to the Chief Minister of Bengal. If you connect every act of violence with the law and order of a particular state, then it has to go to UP, where under the nose of the police, under the protection of the police, killings happen. When encounter takes place in broad daylight, while in Haryana, mafia dons are killing the police officers. You do not connect this with law and order. The fact remains that this violence is taking place for the last 1 month because of the narrative planted by BJP, combined opposition, and one of their leaders in the governor. I want to know again from the governor and from the BJP, did you even talk about developmental politics for the last 1 month? About 100 days work, about unemployment, about road, about electricity, about water? These are the issues for Panchayat. This is what they have been talking about. Violence, counter-violence, marenge, police ko gherav karenge. That is the narrative, and central forces. Very ironically, the central forces came, but they were made to sit under the instruction of 2 BJP leaders, Nitish Pramanik in North Bengal, Shubhendu Adhikari in South Bengal. There are videos where they are instructing, you know what is your responsibility. Do I need to talk about the credentials of these 2 persons, Nitish Pramanik and Shubhendu Adhikari? They are goons. They are criminals. Do I need to talk about the credential of Adit Chaudhary? He was accused of double murder case. He was in jail for 9 months. Look at the Trinamool leader. Do you have any single
And Professor
Trinamool
Mondal, how would you describe Arabul?
Opinions, criminal record?
Okay.
There, and maximum number of violence have taken place in Murshidabad, where our people have been killed. Maximum number of people are killed of TMC. What are you talking about? We created violence,
But
and we have
Murshidabad happens to be.
That is the narrative. And the governor of the state,
Murshidabad happens to be the.
I charge the governor of the state how he was demoralizing the election commission.
Murshidabad, just to remind you.
He was demoralizing
Murshidabad, just to remind you.
And day before yesterday, Shubhendu Adhikari get out the election commission. Why? Because they are going to lose. who have burned down the
now,
ballot boxes?
Professor Mondal,
Who
you
have-
made
who
your
have
point.
stolen the
Okay,
ballot
Professor
boxes?
Mondal,
It
you
is the
made your
BJP
point.
people.
Now,
Can I make a
People
quick-
who
let's
win
take
and
this
they do
forward.
not steal the
Okay.
ballot boxes.
You
Simple logic.
are squarely blaming. You are squarely blaming. Okay, you are squarely
Absolutely.
blaming, and
I'm
you are saying there is a
blaming the
conspiracy.
BJP
You are
and the
saying a
governor of the
conspiracy
state at
that
the
was
same time.
hatched by a union minister. 1 minute. I'll because since you raised this question about a union minister, I'll give the BJP a chance to respond. But before that, Mr. Bajoria, I'll give you the chance to respond, but I'll just quickly get in a comment also from Pratimranjan Bose and Nilanjan Das, and then I'll come back to you, Shishir. Bajoria, you can club together and then respond. Finally, we'll have Professor Mondal also coming in. Professor Mondal is essentially saying that there was a narrative that was built. The narrative that was built was by a united opposition and the Bharatiya Janata Party. And what I find very surprising, Professor Mondal, is tonight you never spoke about your national alliance with the Congress party, because Adhiranjan Sen, not Adhiranjan Chaudhary, is the one who is basically saying there is a murder of democracy. It is Adhiranjan Sen with whom you seem to be having an alliance as far as national. Hold on, 1 minute, hold on. Let's not feel uncomfortable about it, because Mohabbat ki Dukaan tonight did not feel the need when his own worker.
We will not have any track.
Mr. Adhiranjan Chaudhary, I have not said this. I have the. I'll tell you, Professor Mondal, two things. When you make this allegation make an allegation against us, there is one newspaper which happens to be your favorite in the state of West Bengal. I believe even they were not in a position. Mr. Shishir Bajoria can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm told that there is a favorite newspaper that the political party, the ruling dispensation, has in the state of West Bengal, which has actually written a scathing column against the party, calling it that, quoting an insider, a Trinamool Congress insider, saying that today the TMC finds itself in a position of resistance from its own people. And the very fact that there has been low voter turnout essentially shows that Trinamool Congress is having a tough time. But that's a different matter. I'm not saying it. Adhiranjan Chaudhary also says there is a murder of democracy. Pratimranjan Bose, let me come.
Highest in the country in such elections.
Okay, we'll come out. We'll come back. Professor Mondal, I'll give you the chance. Pratimranjan Bose, two aspects.
That's data for you.
Pratimranjan Bose, let me also come into the fact that, okay, Pratimranjan Bose, let me come to the other fact. How is it that today you have the CPM, okay? The CPM is basically going nationally saying that, look here, we need to unite against the atrocities committed by the Bharatiya Janata Party. And what really happens in the state of West Bengal, as the Trinamool Congress is now alleging, Trinamool Congress is saying that, look here, they are in bed with each other. So what are these political parties are fighting? And this is the question that exactly what I've been asking from day one. I'm not concerned about any of these political parties. I'm only simply asking a question, who exactly is standing with the people of West Bengal? And Nilanjan, don't worry, these antiques of yours does not work. I'll come to you. You will have enough time to respond. But Pratimranjan Bose, please go ahead.
The first thing first, as you said, I have come to a stage of life, and as a professional, I think the priorities are fixed on us, that it cannot continue. We have been living in horror for last 50 years, and it must stop somewhere. So the buck must stop here. The last election where we saw, kind of panchayat election I'm talking about, and all local elections, was in 2008, when the ruling party was, on the back foot, and Trinamool did well. But otherwise, this particular panchayat and all these things have no. If you go by their voting percentage and etc., it has little implication. You go to 2018 voting percentage, 72% or 70%, something like that. And then next year, you see another voting percentage almost coming down to half. So, the moot point here is how long this can continue and why it is continuing. The simple reason
who is it exactly?
Hello.
The question here is, Pratim, who exactly is responsible for it? Because if you've heard Professor Mondal has said that this election, there was nothing about development. No one spoke about development. Everyone spoke about who's killing whom. But the fact of the matter is, it's a reality. Nilanjan, if I can, Pratim, I'll come back to you. Nilanjan, I want a quick comment from you. Now, please tell me, will you actually look the other way? when there was existence of those crude bomb factories, and I'm not saying that one political party is responsible. My information is that almost all political parties in the state of West Bengal are a beneficiary of it. But the fact of the matter is that the ruling party has some responsibility for bringing an end to such existence of such factories.
Absolutely. And, the BSF and other agencies of the government of India, they must also do their job. But I don't know why you are bringing it into this debate where the responsibility squarely lies with the central forces. And I'm sorry that they weren't deployed by the BSF IG and people had to lose their lives. Almost 64% of the people who lost their lives are TMC cadres, and they have been killed by the united opposition in Bengal, which includes the BJP, CPIM, Congress, and ISF. So it must be said, Shravan, it's no use putting the blame on the Trinamool Congress, on the government, when it was absolutely a High Court monitored election, and the High Court gave all the authorities to the BSF IG, who was the nodal officer of this election, and the election commissioner, the state police during the election. He is accountable to the election commissioner, and the election commissioner has been appointed by the governor. So what was the governor doing in his peace room that he has set up? So these are the questions that need to be asked. And in this election, the TMC was absolutely at the receiving end of this violence, and this was a pre-planned violence to mar the image of Bengal, because they want to rake up the issues of president's rule and this and that. So that is the actual. Unfortunately, what the BJP wants.
Unfortunately, there is, as I understand, there is no one who would really actually, seek accountability at this point in time. Shishir Bajoria, since there was an allegation that has been leveled against
accountability has to be said.
The Bharatiya Janata Party, Nilanjan says that. Nilanjan says that when there was clear instructions that was given by the Calcutta High Court when it comes to deployment of the central forces, Professor Mondal says that there is a conspiracy that was hatched by Union Minister Nishit as well as Shuvendu Adhikari, sending out instruction to the central forces that don't get yourself deployed, let the state burn. So once again, it goes back to the Bharatiya Janata Party that you are basically the genesis of the violence comes in from none other than your party.
A quick response on each of the points in a bullet form. One, as far as the central force deployment is concerned, yes, the Honorable High Court had ordered that the IGBSF will be the nodal officer. What happened to him? The Election Commission didn't even share the sensitive booth analysis. He's given a letter in writing, number one.
Central police was supposed to be deployed in every booth.
May I speak? I kept quiet. Nilanjan Babu, I kept quiet. Sorry.
No, don't mislead. Don't mislead.
Sorry.
Please complete. Okay, gentlemen, I'm really running short of time. In a couple of minutes, Arnab would also be doing his debate. So Shishida, please complete your statement. Please complete your statement.
Nothing was provided to the central forces. Not even latrines were provided. Number two, as far as the agenda of the Panchayat, Professor Mandal, he's a professor, does not read.
Okay.
He's a professor who does not read. He speaks for Trinamool, but he does not identify himself as Trinamool.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry.
We have a manifesto. Professor Mandal, didn't you read?
What is this?
Okay. Gentlemen, I'm very sorry because I'm really running short of time because barely few minutes to the debate with Arnab Goswami in a short while from now. I'm sorry I had to cut you short, Shishir Bajoria, as well as Professor Mondal at this point in time. Pratim, I'm very sorry because I couldn't accommodate all of you. But thank you very much for joining us on the Trending Party Question. On the other side, the big debate with Arnab Goswami.
On late Sunday night, the West Bengal governor landed in the national capital. Questioned on the poll violence, the governor said this to Republic.
Sir, you will be meeting Union Home Minister Minister Amit Shah, sir, we are here for a
Anand Bose, you have a lot of questions against the State Election Commission.
You went to the violence areas.
What will be the next?
Sir, you want to submit a report to Union Home Minister.
Sir, what will you be doing the next?
Sir, your first reaction, sir. Yes, sir.
I came here for a simple purpose. As a student, I have heard Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya. Somebody told me it's the same as there is light at the end of the tunnel. As a humble student, I wanted to ask my learned professors what it means.
The West Bengal governor was on the move on ground on polling. He repeatedly called for choosing the ballot over the bullet. Previously, he met the kin of the deceased and visited a hospital where poll violence victims were receiving medical care. But in the light of the violence that ensued, sources say he is likely to meet the Union Home Minister, Amit Shah, and submit a clear report.
Given the unprecedented violence in Bengal, what is your comment, sir? Given the bloodshed that has taken place, not just the bloodshed, the mockery of democracy with the looting of, ballot boxes in the panchayat polls and everything. What do you comment, sir?
I'm watching.
You were out on the field, sir, when this happened. You were amidst the people. What did you see, sir? And what did you feel? And what are the steps that you would like to take?
I have seen many things. I have made my own assessment. I will state it at the right time, in the right manner.
One more question, sir. The BSF has alleged that information on sensitive poll booths were not shared with them, and this led to the escalation of violence in Bengal during the panchayat polls.
Yes, the BSF has made their point clear. I have nothing more to comment on that.
And what are the further, sir? Just before coming to Delhi, on the Kolkata airport, you said that you were here in Delhi to get some fresh air. Were you feeling some kind of problem in Kolkata or in West Bengal? What is your comment on that, sir? Fresh off